What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as you all know, today is indeed Wednesday, which means the new summit is now live here at Motorfest, and with that we will have the M2CS, and also this car is new, by the way, this week. We'll have ourselves the JDM White Underglow, which honestly looks pretty mid, if I have to be real there. We will then obviously have the On-X Off-Road Summit after that with the tire, and also the new Jeep as well. That is a bronze award. This entire summit, though, if you are wondering, is also vehicle loan for the main events there. So any skill issue people or, having issues with some of the events, I like the vehicle loan because it kind of shows that a bit, or, you can have your part sets and all that good stuff, and most of the time you can have your pro settings. But either way, though, for the M2CS Summit, guys, I actually messed up, and it's kind of hilarious. For the main three events here, I couldn't figure out why I was so slow, and I guess I put the wrong part set on my vehicle, man. So as you guys will see, my car is 600 out of 750, so I put a street tier 1 set on my car, bro. And yeah, it's not what I expected at all. I was going to go through and do the events again, but I was like, you know what, dude? Nah, I'm going to leave it. So I did end up using a street tier 1 chemist set for the 3 events here. Kind of made me laugh, dude, because I didn't score too badly. You know what I mean? Like, I am obviously slower because my vehicle is not maxed out. The top speed on my car was like 218 instead of like 240-ish, so kind of makes a difference. 3 minutes and 33 seconds there running a street tier 1. On this one, I got 253. Then the final, I got like 315, which obviously isn't good. And I'm going to be real, guys, by the way. Every single event in this summit, dude, it's honestly pretty straightforward, if I'm being real. Like, I actually found it pretty straightforward. This event, though, is one of your favorite races ever. Yes, it's a navigation race here. I know y'all love these races. Am I right? Y'all love these races. I don't think anyone does. But I feel like the scoring's fairly decent. Got 132,000 on this one. I had to run it twice to figure out where to go because, bro, I don't do these races. I'm not a fan of navigation races, if I'm being real. I'm not a big fan. Funny part is, this was also the same event that was broken a very long time ago to where you could do the entire event in like 50 seconds. So yeah, if you made a lot of money back then, you took massive advantage of that. Am I right? But overall, though, I gotta admit, guys, for the summit, and like the most part, I admit here, I kind of feel like overall the summit is pretty straightforward, man. Like, I don't think there's anything insane going on in these events where I'm like, oh, y'all need to lock in and do this and do that. And I don't think there's any of that going on, man. I mean, the biggest thing is, if you guys are running manual, keep your car in the right gear. This car obviously is an 8-speed transmission, so running manual, you'll be shifting a lot and probably having to shift up in some corners because the car will just redline and bounce off it and all that good stuff. So you do want to be careful there, making sure you're in the right, gear and all that, making sure you're running your nitrous at the higher part of the RPMs, for extra power. And also on top of that, by the way, being careful in the corners, bro. That's the biggest thing. It's not really too insane if I'm being real. And I don't want to miss it, so we all got to talk about these skills here. Very simple. That escape might be kind of odd for people, but the Slalom guys start off half score breaker. Run it normally, nothing too insane there. Very simple to do. The long jump again, literally put on a half score breaker, bro. 900 yards is a max score. Like, you don't have to do anything at all on this, bro. Literally, you could pretty much do this without even looking at your screen. I think just hit your gas and shift, hit the jump, dude, and that's literally it. For the escape, though, I would recommend turning around, going up the road a bit, getting your guys' self a head start. I would definitely recommend that. Turn around after that and go toward the objective. Go around the first initial corner there, jump over the mountain, then jump onto the road that way. That's the way I found to do this one. 3,300 yards basically got you a max out score. So that's what I would recommend on the escape if you're struggling with that one. Don't try to follow the road. If you're struggling getting around the corners, then yeah, I would recommend going off-road like I did. Going over the mountain, jumping onto the road, definitely seemed to work. But watch out for the rocks, because they kind of pop in. Overall, though, guys, I would say this summit is fairly straightforward. And yes, you can laugh at my scores on the main M2 events, because I had a street tier 1 set on my vehicle, bro. And I was going to change it, but I'm like, you know what? Nah. I'm going to still do it, see if I can stay in platinum. I most likely will with 1.3 million points, because ain't nobody doing this summit for JDM White Underglow. Am I right? But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let's jump right into this one.